Message from Gabe Morency. I wonder what this could all be about. Let's take a look at.
We're starting in 5 minutes, boys.
Okay, thanks, Monma. Really excited for the show today. Hopefully it's going to be a good one. Whoa, look at this. Jimmy the Bag, a message from Gabe Morency. I wonder what this could all be about. Let's take a look at this, Jim.
What's up, Pete? I got good news and I got bad news. Good news is I'm coming to San Jose, Costa Rica. We're going to be kicking it live. It's going to be an awesome betcast, Super Bowl 52. The bad news is if I don't do well on the tables, I might have to borrow a couple of bucks and I might have to sleep on your couch. But either way, we're going to tear it apart, man. Super Bowl 52, live from Costa Rica. See you there, Pete.
Uh-oh, Jimmy the Bag. Gabe Morency is going to be joining us for our Super Bowl podcast. This is scary and exciting at the same time. Jimmy the Bag, what do you think? Are you looking forward to this?
Very much so, man. It's not a party unless Gabe Morency's down here.
You think you can handle hanging? You think you can survive an entire Super Bowl in the same room with Gabe Morency?
Super Bowl day's the only day you're allowed to get day drunk. You're allowed to get all fucked up. It's part of the fucking celebration.
I just had a brainstorm. You know what would be a great idea is if Donnie Rightside came down here too. You think he'd be willing to come down?
Check this shit out. I'm way ahead of you, Pete.
No way.
Hey, Jimmy, I'm in. Send me down there. Costa Rica, let's do it. February 4th, Super Bowl Sunday, live betcast. We'll be there before, during, and after the game, breaking it all down. Let's win some money.
All right, well, it looks like we're going to have a full house for the Super Bowl Betcast, the official SBR Super Bowl Betcast. There's going to be Jimmy, me, and Donnie, and Gabe, all powered by BetOnline, and it's going to start at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Super Bowl Sunday, February 4th. Jimmy the Bag, are you psyched?
Psyched, man. Let's get that cash.
Sportsbook Review's Super Bowl Betcast is brought to you by BetOnline.
Sports Picks. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the Loshak and the Bag Show for Wednesday, January 24th, the 12 o'clock edition. Welcome back all the regular viewers who make this show so special and regular commenters who help us so much with all of our analyses. Jimmy the Bag, I'm pretty much heating up. I'm clawing back in NBA. I had another winning day in NHL. We're both doing very well in NHL. And college basketball, I actually was down units in the show yesterday, although I had a winning day, on my accounts, and I continue to just, I just can't learn my lessons. Just stop getting cute. I took the first half over on the Villanova game, and that one lost, but the full game over won. So many picks of mine yesterday in college basketball weren't as what they should have been because of, my overall record wasn't what it should have been because of just trying to get too cute. Of course, I got screwed in overtime in the Ball State-Kent State game, but just getting too cute. I didn't take Buffalo on the spread, which I wanted. A lot of leans that I like cash, but that's good because we do talk about these leans, right? Mm-hmm. And our savvy regular viewers have started to know that my leans tend to be even better than the picks that I give. And you're doing pretty well as well, Jim. Although you did have a bad game in college basketball.
Bad. I had a fucking atrocious fucking day in college basketball. Very disappointing. Hit 3 of the 5 puck lines.
Yes, but the puck line, Jimmy the Bag, everyone knows, our regular viewers know that your analysis in NHL is second to none, and your picks in NHL are quite profitable as well. You're up almost up 10 units in NHL, and your strategy, the strategy you use, you're going to have Jimmy the Bag, of course, likes to take a lot of puck lines. His average line now is up to plus 125 in NHL, so he's going to have a lot of 0-2, 0-3 days, and then a lot of 3-2 and 4-1 days where he's up like 6 units on those days. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
Yeah, it's exciting, and I'm not going to let NCAA basketball just destroy me. I'm lucky and thankful to be sitting in this seat.
Yes.
I enjoy this very much, and I love the guys that we cap with, and so I'm not going to wallow in fucking self-pity. I promise.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, I think you're only. As we all know, you are never too good. You are never too old. You are never too experienced to stop learning, right? And we know that. We talk about that all the time. We talk about, like, you see it in Major League Baseball. There'll be like Clayton Kershaw. And he's like, well, he's been working on his mechanics this week, so he's expecting to improve a little bit. And you're like, you're Clayton Kershaw, and you're still working on your mechanics? And the answer is yes. You're always working on your mechanics. You're always working on your technique, and you're always trying to, figure out what you're doing well, figure out what you're not doing well. And when I look at your college basketball picks yesterday, they did make me a little bit nervous. I liked Oklahoma as a pick, but I didn't as a lean, but I didn't give it. And I guess I just felt like.
But Kansas had that game wrapped up.
Yeah. Yes.
As Bookie goes 1 for 8 from the foul line at the very end. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma hit a big 3 with 33 seconds left. That game was a plus 115 locked up. Kentucky won easily.
Yes,
but I missed that first half by 2 points.
Yes. So that
it didn't have to be such a shitty night.
That's absolutely right.
And clearly, adding St. John's and Texas A&M were big mistakes. St. John's especially because, Max and Twatty, didn't like that play.
Yeah.
But then Texas A&M, I mean, there were so many guys on it. It made so much sense to me, and they got destroyed from the first second.
I feel like in general in college basketball, and this is a mistake that a lot of people make, I have it myself, in general, when you have, at this time in the season, when you have a road team that is clearly and legitimately better than the home team, right? A lot of times they're not as good of a bet as they seem on the line, and in fact, often they're a fade. We saw that earlier where there were a couple of road teams recently that lost as favorites. I think it was Kentucky against South Carolina or something like that a few days ago. But just in general, I would say this is my advice to you, my advice to myself, and my reminder to all the viewers. Not advice because some of our viewers have this shit down pat in college basketball, but in general, at this time of year, there's a lot of road teams that are clearly better on paper than the home teams and are legitimately better than the home teams, but from a betting perspective in that game are sometimes a good fade or not as good of a bet as they seem on paper. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to fire away today and tomorrow. I'm not going to panic.
Yes.
But I'm not in a good spot financially because of this month.
All right. Well, I am picking things up, and hopefully things will get chugging along very quickly, very soon in this show. I did get a chance to look at most of the college basketball card already, so I'll be able to give some picks in college basketball today. That will be the third segment of the handicapping show, and of course NBA. I'm chugging along. I'm still down double-digit units, but I've had a bunch of winning days in a row, and I'm almost into single digits negative. Jim.
I know that you're going to hit the black, man. I know you're going to hit the black.
And, of course, once again, NHL. We got a good handle on NHL. And I'm pretty annoyed because, Jim, yesterday I didn't have a chance to look at the games that didn't have overnight lines, and I wound up not capping them. But then when I look back at them, I was like, oh, shit. That I like taking my shots with Buffalo sometimes as a huge, on the alternative puck line as a huge underdog. And I feel like that might have been one of my picks and definitely one of my leans. Edmonton, when I looked at it, this is all in hindsight. But Edmonton, Buffalo's bad, but Edmonton should not have been that big of a favorite. They're still an NHL hockey team. You know what I'm saying?
They should not have been that big of a favorite. And we knew that Buffalo had won 5 of the last 7 times in Edmonton. I was really happy that we stayed off of Colorado. Yeah. I thought there were some really good moves last night. I told everybody that the Canucks were healthy and that there was going to be value soon.
Yeah.
Now, I should have jumped on it right away. Yeah. But I agree. I think that in NHL we have a very good feeling about what's going on. Now, that can go away, but I don't think it will. The bye weeks are pretty much over. We're going to head into the post-All-Star break and up to the trading deadline. I expect to continue our success in both NHL and NBA.
And, of course, the biggest news of all yesterday, and the best news, and the funniest news. I saved the best for last, Jimmy the Bag. You know what I'm about to talk about, right?
I'm not sure.
The Cleveland Cavaliers continue to shit the bed.
Look. Right off the top, a great comment from our man Searcy. He said, "Can I make a rule in this chat?" So I just feel like it should be said. And then there was some beats. We're all getting excited. He says, "If you even mention betting the Cavs, we are kicking you out of the chat." Thanks, management.
Absolutely. And as I've always said, and this applies to handicapping in life and to professional teams, when you shit the bed, that is when you can clean the bed. But the asterisk there, the caveat is that if you shit the bed 18 nights in a row, it's a little hard to clean up.
Yeah, it's very
difficult. That can get be a messy situation.
My bed's so full of shit, I'm on the couch right now.
Very nice, Jimmy the Bag. So Cleveland yesterday, I did have the balls. I took them first quarter, which cashed, but I also took them first half, and they started shitting the bed in the second quarter, Jim. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of had a winner there, but I should have stayed off the first half and just the first quarter. Feels like with Cleveland going forward, now there's no Cleveland game tonight, but, it feels like going forward, just expect more of the same from them. Look to bet on them in first quarters, but full games, look to fade, right?
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I'm not going to just jump on that fading thing. But I'm certainly not going to bet on them.
No, but first quarters, they've been great. Betting on the first quarters or first halves recently, in that Indiana game where they shitted the bed, they covered that first quarter, right?
Yeah, no question. And then the Celtics, I think it's time almost to, the Celtics, did the opposite of what we've been seeing, and I really heavily looked into their roster and looked into their stuff today. I did not sleep last night. I did get an hour between 8 and 9 a.m.
Very nice, Jimmy the Bag. Jimmy the Bag having some problems. You mean because of your concerns about your handicapping recently, and is that why?
Yes. Everything else is just fine, Pete.
Oh man, here you go. I wish we could have an MRI of Jim's brain every show. It could be a study in how cortisol affects the brain, how the stress hormone impacts the synapses of the brain, and Jimmy the Bag is Exhibit A.
Last night was the worst. I tried to go to sleep like earlier, right? And I still had the St. John's game going on and the fucking Texas A&M game, and they were both down 15 points, and I couldn't, like, it was like optional misery. Like, I didn't have to keep following those games and go down in a fucking pool of my own.
Wait,
tears.
how bad did you do last night? College basketball, but everything else, you had a good night in NHL and in NBA too, right?
No, I went 2 and 3 in NBA.
You did?
I believe. Well, at least officially, like with my betting, I did. I can't.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you had Orlando and Boston. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I you know what? I have faith in what we're doing here and what's going on. I just think that nobody should tail my college basketball at all until I start moving forward. I do believe that is something that's possible. When I was down 12 units, you gave me an inspirational talk in NBA, and these guys are so. You guys are so talented at this, and we have so much info, and if I don't turn this around, well, I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Right. I mean, I feel like things are going to be okay. I'm picking things up in college basketball. My leans have been okay, and we will look at tonight's card, which is very interesting. A lot of games. All right, let's jump right into it. Only 2 NHL games right now, and why not? Despite all this talk of shitting the bed and losing records, let's throw the NHL record up there, Jim, because it's pretty nice. I'm up double digits in the NHL. After last night, you're up, I think, 9 units, almost up double digits in the NHL. You're coming off of one of your winning days in the puck lines, and when that does happen, you wind up, let's see, yesterday you wound up about 3.5. Wow. Just from going 3 and 2, you wound up 3.5 units in the NHL yesterday. Very, very nicely done. Jimmy the Bag, again, I'm frustrated that I just, for whatever reason, my schedule, my sleep, I missed out on that Buffalo game. I feel like I would have been on Buffalo there. All right, so tonight we have only 2 games in the NHL, and of course the big sort of obvious / trap question mark play is LA against Calgary. LA, of course, has been terrible. They're on a back-to-back. They just got blown out yesterday. Jonathan Quick was pulled last night, and they're going up against Calgary, who's off of 2 kind of shameful home losses. But before that, Calgary was on a bit of a train that people wanted to get on. They were winning game in and game out, playing very, very well. So maybe this is a bounce back spot for Calgary and a no-brainer play on Calgary. What do you think, Jimmy the Bag?
First off, I don't believe in the Flames. Secondly, I got destroyed when we started our NHL season for taking the Kings not to make the playoffs. And I forget the number I've got them at, but it was a big plus number. And I got destroyed by all our friends in LA. And now they're on the outside looking in because they are a slow group and they're an aging group. And even with Dustin Brown and Kopitar having monster seasons, they will likely be on the outside looking in when it comes to playoff time. Now, the Flames don't have enough depth offensively, and it will continue to bite them. Their road record is incredible. So the Flames are 25-16-6 this year and are in line to make the playoffs because of their excellent road record. At home, different story. 12-11-2. They went 4-0 on their last road trip, went into their bye week, and that bye week can be dangerous. It can stop all your momentum. It clearly did with these guys. They promptly lost 2 straight at home, scoring just 2 goals, coming off the 2-1 overtime loss to the Sabres. The Kings are a mess, lost 7 of 8. They're coming off an ugly 6-2 loss to the Canucks. The Canucks were up 4-1 after the first period. They've been outscored 11-1 in the first period of their last 7 games. I don't know what to do with this game. And I don't think the Flames are low-hanging fruit. I think the Kings come back in a big way, but I don't trust this team. I don't know. What do you, let's see, Brent Brooks says, Calgary always fucks me when I go against them at home. Prediction guy says unders in both NHL games. Jansen Bonzone says today is fade Canadian teams.
Yeah, I was gonna actually thinking about passing on both of these games. The LA Calgary one is a tough one. Of course, Toronto Chicago also a tough one because both of these teams been having trouble scoring and losing. Chicago off of now I think they've lost 4 out of their 5 games in their current homestand and just not scoring. And these are not not shootout losses. These are losses by multiple goals. But Toronto has been doing almost as bad over their last 8 or 9 games. I guess I would have a slight lean to Toronto here. It's looking like they're trying to shake things up with their lineup for this road trip. So maybe a shot with Toronto on the alternative puck line. But I was thinking about passing on that one too. I might pass on both these games, Jim. What's your take on Toronto, Chicago, if any?
Wow, you know what? I'm so on with you. I don't have official picks on these 2 games. I'm curious what that Toronto line +1 is, just a slight dog. I agree with you. I like the way they've juggled the lines. I think this line's going to be very good. It's a Kadri, Marleau, Marner line. I like that. I love the sound that you got the offense and excitement with Marner. You got the defensive responsibility and toughness with Kadri, and then Marleau, and then you have 2 guys that can win faceoffs in Marleau. I think it's a great line moving forward. They kept the number 1 line the same: Matthews, Nylander, and Hyman. Man, these Blackhawks are a mess. It's really important to hammer at these older teams ahead of the curve, which I believe I did with the Kings. But the Blackhawks, I just can't believe how bad they are. 3-game losing streak. They now scored 13-3 over that skid. Jeff Glass will be in goal tonight. He looked pretty good against the Lightning. 2-0 loss. 3-3-1, 3.17 goals against average, 909 save percentage. Kane continues to play well, but he's getting no help on the offensive end. Unbelievably, their power play is 29th in the league at just 14.9%. I can't even fathom that that's happening. The Brandon Sayad trade has not worked out. Panarin leads the Jackets in scoring. Blackhawks are just 12, 10-2 at home. Leafs have won just 1 of 6. I'm 100% with you at this point. I'm going to leave both these games alone and not make a play.
Well, I mean, so it sounds to me like your analysis is that Chicago's problems are more fundamental than Toronto's problems. You like the change? No?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we got Glass in goal for Chicago, who had a good game in his last one. But all right, I'm gonna take Toronto -1, Jim. I'm gonna take Toronto -1. The puck line, the money line part of this is +111 at betonlinesportsbetting.ag, and the alternative puck line is at Pinnacle right now +279. So that's a pretty big underdog line there for Toronto -1. I could bring up my calculator, but I'm not going to. But that combines the money line at +111, the puck line at the alternative puck line at +279 at Pinnacle, and I'm going to take Toronto -1 here as an official pick. Actually, Jim,
I do think that is a good play. I do think that is a good play. Joel Smith's on Toronto, Chicago over. Brent Brooks says Blackhawks are ugly, but Schmaltz is on fire, and DeBrincat is one of the best rookies of the year. He really is. DeBrincat's been very impressive. But in saying all that, I'm going to wait a little bit longer. I think I'm going to sit on it during the day.
You think that Chicago might just be so salty from 3 straight home losses that they're going to come in and give a Herculean effort for this one game?
Well, that's exactly what Paulo Marquez is saying. Chicago must win. But if there was one play to make, I think you've made it. But I just don't feel comfortable with either of these. I like the line changes that Babcock made, and I love the original 6 matchup. And the Leafs Blackhawks game is very exciting and very. I'm going to enjoy watching it, but I'm gonna leave it. I'll leave it alone.
All right, so I'm gonna take Toronto -1 just at the big dog line. Maybe it'll cash, maybe it won't. And then the LA Calgary game, man, that's a tough one. I'm gonna pass on that one. Are you gonna make a pick on that one, Jim?
I'm not, but I will mention that. Both Maxwell Smart and Twatty Latte are loving your look today.
Yeah, I look like someone else said I look like a hip accountant, a nerd who got like a job in a cool company, and I go up to the guys and go, you know what I'm saying, like a hip accountant.
Well, they say Maxwell Smart says Pete no homo here, but I agree with Twatty Latte that you're looking stylish in GQ.
Yes, I am. I'm looking pretty good, and I have some. There's some other funny shit in my personal life that I could talk about, but I won't get into it right now. But it's. I wish I could. It's definitely very funny. Yeah, someone earlier said I look like a hip accountant who has like those fucking nerds who then become accountants and then get jobs at hip companies. So they're hanging out with hip people.
Yeah, you hit fucking nerds really tough there. Like you really don't like those.
Yeah, nerds. No, I don't like nerds. I know ever since computers, nerds have become cool. But I'm like from the '80s, baby. I like shoving nerds in garbage cans, man. You know what I'm saying? Nerds! Come here, nerd.
I'm shocked that you like to do that.
Come here, nerd.
You're such a kind man.
Yeah. I like to make fun of nerds. But right now I look like a nerdy accountant.
Twatty Latte comes in and says Pete looks like he has a dirty microwave.
microwaves. I don't use microwaves. Are you kidding? Microwaves are crazy. Are you kidding? No way. Would never use a microwave. And microwave popcorn is incredibly unhealthy for you. All right, so let's move on. Let's go to the NBA. It is a big card, and let's throw the NBA record up. Now, my NBA record right now overall looks ugly because just a few weeks ago I was just had a terrible read on every game. Mostly I was getting snake bit though, and I wound up just doubling up on games and this and that, and wound up minus 26 units or whatever. I'm now down only about 13 units or so. Jim is still up in NBA, very nice, but single digits though, Jim. And now we have 9 games here on tonight's card. I'm coming off another winning day in the NBA, and what I was thinking about tonight, well, it's let's start with Phoenix, Indiana. I'm sure you looked at that one. Now I know that these two teams aren't necessarily like this isn't the Warriors and the Cavs here, but Indiana went into Phoenix and beat them bad at home recently, and now I'm thinking that maybe Phoenix has covered a bunch of games in a row now. I think it's 3 in a row on their current road stand. Is this maybe a revenge spot for Phoenix here? Is Phoenix worth a shot with the points, Jim? What do you think?
That's interesting. And how many points are we getting right now?
7.5.
That's interesting. Interesting. And just one last point onto the hot card, and I'll jump on this, is that Billy T thinks that Toronto will break glass tonight, which is interesting and very interesting, Billy T. And I'm going to think about that all day. I do think that was the only good or reasonable move. But yes, Suns and Pacers, interesting spot. After a 94-86 win at San Antonio, the Pacers just concluded their 5-game road trip 3-2. Very nice. Swept the 2-game set against the Spurs this year for the first time since 94-95. 25-22 on the season, 14-10 at home. Miles Turner's missed 5 straight games with a right elbow injury. It looked like it affected them quite a bit in the first couple games, and they've gotten over it. The Suns are coming off a 109-105 loss at Milwaukee against the Bucks team that was missing the Greek Freak. They've lost 4 or 5 now. Troy Daniels has come out, and he's hitting 42% from 3. He's given the team another scoring option. He's hit a 3 in 27 straight games. He hit 5 against the Bucks. If they can get another scoring option, so it's not just TJ and Devin, then they're going to move forward offensively, because Marquise Chris continues to be out of the lineup with a right hip strain. I don't have faith in the Suns. But then I don't know. I was not comfortable with this game. Not comfortable. I think there's going to be scoring though.
Yeah, I was leaning under, and Reggie reminded me of that. Reggie said that he was leaning under as well. Where's that comment from? Yeah, I'm on Suns Pacers under. I was leaning that way as well. I did bet it. I have actually. Let me see. What is it? Let me see. Yeah, both have been big under trenders recently. So why do you think there's going to be scoring here, Jim?
I think there's going to be scoring here because the Pacers were playing tight defensively on the road, and I think they're going to get home and be excited to be in front of their fans. Now, that 216.5 line is very high. Yeah. So I definitely don't think that you guys are on the wrong track. But I think that so interesting, Dylan Filippo says the Bucks couldn't make stops, and if Troy Daniels didn't hit those threes, they would have lost by double digits. I think that the Pacers could beat up on this Suns team tonight. But then I don't like taking teams on the first game back after a road trip. You know what? At this point, this is a stay-away game for me.
Okay. Let me think about what I'm going to do here. Okay, but you think that Indiana coming home is going to have with Oladipo back, that their offense is going to open up tonight?
I think that what I've noticed with these teams is when they come back from a road trip, they play a little looser. I don't know if it's playing in front of their home fans or what, but they take more shots, they take quicker shots, the pace speeds up.
Because I was also thinking about the Indiana team total under, which would be 112. You don't
interesting.
Like that one, Jim.
No, you know what? I'm uncomfortable with the spot because I think that the Suns win when they score 120 points.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to take the Suns here, plus the points. I'll start off with just that. As far as the total is concerned, I'll think about it a little bit more and maybe add something later on. But I'm going to take the Suns plus 7.5 minus 108. The Phoenix Suns plus 7.5 minus 108. That's the current line. Oh, no, minus 105 at Bookmaker. Give myself the best line always, and you should too, using SBRodds.com. Plus 7.5 minus 105 is the best line at Bookmaker. Definitely agreeing with Reggie that I'm thinking about the under and thinking about the Indiana team total under as well, but I'll hold off on that for now. But I will add Phoenix as an official play. What else? What do you like, Jim?
Well, I tweeted this out earlier, and I tagged you on the tweet, and there was really no reason to. And then Ziggy made some nice points as to why he doesn't agree with this, and I'll tell you why I like it. But I'm on the Spurs Grizzlies over. It went up instantly as soon as the line came out, and then it stopped and kind of went back in the other direction. The reason why Ziggy doesn't like it is he thinks that when Pop decides who he's not going to put in the lineup that will slow the pace down. But I disagree because I think it's the Spurs subs that like a pace. And the Spurs are on the second half of a back-to-back, which means, to me, less defending the perimeter, not more. And they've been trending they've been scoring buckets lately. They beat the Cavs at home 114-102 last night. Tony Parker's looked good coming off the bench in the last 2 games. DeJounte Murray is the right person to start for them. I agree with that move. Tony Parker had 13 points, 5.5 assists in 19 minutes in the last 2 games off the bench. Murray's 19 points, 10 boards, 7 steals. Very impressive. He's going to help on the defensive end for them. Spurs have lost 2 straight, 4-6 before their win over the Cavs. They haven't recorded consecutive wins since December. They're just 11-15 on the road. As with all Spurs back-to-backs, we have to wait to see who Pop is going to rest. But the Grizzlies are coming off a 105-101 home victory over the Sixers. They've now won 4 of 5. Tyreek Evans has had another great game. He put up 10 of his 18 points in the fourth quarter. Gasol put up 19. Tyreek Evans likes to push the pace. Grizzlies are 12-13 at home. Ennis and JaMychal Green have been ruled out for this contest. Jarrell Martin, Chandler Parsons are questionable. Mike Conley should be back in lineup soon. But I just think this is a low total. And I know that the Grizzlies like to speed up the pace. Now, it's been the fourth quarter, and it's been the second half where they've slowed the pace down. In the first half, they've been scoring. Now, I do not want to double up on this, but Cap'n 24/7 says Spurs over is a play for me. Luke Charleston says Pop has no option who he's playing. The bench is scarce and hungry. I like over in this game. I like this low spot. Oh, but Big Easy Veezy likes Memphis in the under. Now, I like Memphis here. I don't know if I'm going to make a play. I'm going to wait to see exactly who's going to be in the lineup. But I do like Memphis here, and I like the over. But I'm going to make the over an official pick, and I've already sent it in.
All right. Well, so you tweeted it out.
I tweeted it out.
What'd you get?
I got over 193.5. I was really flustered, so I just took the Bet365 line. That was minus 110.
Over 193.5 minus 110, and that's right where it is right now. 190, or actually, yeah, if you had waited, you could have. Well, wait. Okay. I mean,
it's fine.
Yeah, okay.
I was really flustered.
193.5 minus 110. There were 3 games without overnight lines. I did not get a chance to look at them, so I don't have an opinion on that one. But it's certainly an interesting breakdown, Jim. You're giving me a lot of stuff to think about, and I will look into that one later on today. All right, let's talk about the Houston-Dallas game, because this one I did bet. Of course, Houston is now healthy, right? Now, I bet the over on this one at 216.5. That was last night. That was on the overnight line. It's now up to 218, 218.5, or 219. Of course, Houston's coming off of a lower scoring game where they played great defense, but I'm still not totally buying that, and I'm thinking that this one probably is going to be a higher scoring game. What do you think about that? Actually, Dallas, though, has been a big undertrender at home all year long. Houston's been a big undertrender on the road all year long, so maybe I'm misreading this one, but I bet the over at 216.5. It's now up to 218, Jim. What do you think?
Wow, interesting. Very interesting. See, I mean, if I'm Carlisle, I know that if I speed up the pace, I'm going to get destroyed. I would just take, even though Rockets beat Miami 99-90, I take a page out of Spoelstra's book. Rockets have won 3 straight, 18-0 with Harden, Paul, and Capella in the lineup. They're 15-6 away. Mavericks are coming off a very impressive 98-75 home beatdown of the Wizards, stopping a 3-game losing streak. Wizards points and field goal percentage were season lows for a Dallas opponent. Dallas is now 10th in the league in defensive scoring, allowing 104.1 points per game. Harrison Barnes went for 20 and 10. Dennis Smith put up another big game, 17.6 assists. He's now averaging 20.2 points, 4.8 assists over his last 6 games. Still dealing with injuries. Devin Harris and Finney Smith are unlikely, and Noel and Curry are out long term. Mavericks are just 10 and 15 at home. I find, and I'm interested. I find it wild that you beat the line so much, because my initial feeling was that the Mavericks have to slow down the pace.
Yeah, but will they be able to? I'm going to take it. I mean, I understand the argument against it. If I didn't bet it, I would give it in my put it in my leans category, which is like up. My leans category in the NBA is up like 20 units this year, Jim. So
I agree with you. You need to go with your leans and believe in your leans. And there's 2 different sides here that's interesting. First off, Tomor has an interesting point. Says, I think the line is low. Houston was flat against Miami, and they're healthy now, and the game is on national TV. And then Hako says, not sure about the over with Houston, Pete. And
who said that?
Hako. And then Luke Charleston says, you got to think Houston is going to go on a tear. I would jump on the Houston train right now. Hako says Houston always low-hanging fruit. Eric Swiatek says I'm taking Rockets and the over. Omar Magana says Dallas plus points. Searcy says Dallas Houston under is what I think. Adrian Nietzsche says over on the Houston game, play of the day.
Who?
Adrian Nitu.
Adrian who?
Nitu.
Nitu.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing his name. Great to have you. Thank you.
Yes, Adrian Nitu.
Over on the Houston game play of the day.
All right, listen. I'm gonna give it. It's if I didn't give it, it would definitely be in my leans column. My leans column overall, I'm up 5 units overall, including my picks with my leans column. My leans are up like 20 units on the year. I'm gonna give it the over game. The over Dallas game. Houston Dallas over 218 minus 107. I bet it at 216.5. Again, if I give out a bunch of picks and wind up going 3-2 or 4-2 or something like that, that's fine. I will give you that. I will give that one. I'll take that one all day. McGogster likes Houston on the first quarter. Yeah, Houston might be. Here he goes. Ben Goldstein likes Dallas plus the points. Okay. Well, I'm going to take it. I'm going to be reading some of these comments while we go over our next game, and I'm sure that there were people who will comment on it. Let's see what else is interesting from the card tonight. Well, let's talk about New Orleans, Charlotte. Right, New Orleans, of course, coming off that double overtime game against the Knicks, an incredible game. Jim and I had the under, and that one would have cashed if it hadn't gone to overtime. Now they're playing Charlotte. Charlotte, not a great team, but they can win at home against anyone but the elites, and they can cover a small home spread. I was leaning Charlotte here. What do you think, Jim?
Do you know that fucking game was 108-91 with 5 minutes to play?
Really?
108-91. They were down 17.
Yeah.
Pelicans were down 17 points. And not only that, but Holiday had 3 foul shots, down 2 points with 0.3 seconds left, hit the first 2 and then missed the third so that we fucking lost that fucking bet. This is a tricky spot because my first instinct was to go right back to the under, but there's more at play here. The real reason why I wanted the under is just because of Cousins has a very difficult time with Dwight Howard. So Cousins went off for 44 points, 24 boards, 10 assists in that double overtime game we were talking about. Only 4 other players have ever done that in league history. They were down 17 with just under 6 minutes left. Pelicans have won 5 of 6, 12 and 12 on the road. And as I said, prefaced, Cousins had a very difficult time with Dwight Howard. He's just 6 and 12 head-to-head with him. Cousins has averaged 19.4 points and 10.7 boards against him, while Howard has averaged 16.9 points and out-rebounded him by a couple every game. Cousins will be at the All-Star break. Pelicans are 7 games better than they were at this point without him, but I don't trust him. I never know when he's going to step up and when he's going to kind of be lethargic. Hornets offense has come around. They're averaging 118 points per game over their last 4, so having Clifford back has really changed their offensive mentality. And they were the numbers were strange. I mean, they were hitting such a low amount of 2-point field goals there for about a month, and 3-point shooting was atrocious. After their 112-107 win over Sacramento, they've won 2 of 3. They're in the middle of a 5-game homestand. They're just 13-13 at home, but Dwight Howard's playing well. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is expected to be back. This is a tricky spot, and I'm kind of leaning Hornets, but I found this NBA card tricky and was hoping to be talking about it and figuring it out together. I don't know, man. I don't know why. I think that Howard imposes his will physically on Cousins and pushes him around. He's one of the very few players in the NBA who can do that. And then I just, as I keep saying, I don't trust Cousins. And when he has these monster games, he's not the kind of guy who does it twice in a row. But Anthony Davis is. Anthony Davis is a guy who can drop those kind of numbers twice in a row. It's Justin Searcy says they are pretty evenly matched. Yeah. Mr. Cloudkick says Pelicans are great as underdogs. They should easily cover the 2.5.
A lot of interesting comments on this game. I'll just start off, and on the game that we just discussed as well. All right, first of all, Ziggy Ball says, my pick today, Hornets, Pelicans under 224. I was thinking about that one as well, although later on we'll see a comment where someone says that the Pelicans can score, but they can't play defense. But I wasn't even leaning. I was thinking about taking a shot with the under and wanted to hear what everyone else had to say about it. Let's see. A lot of people liking New Orleans. Cody Brown, no reason the Pels don't get it done tonight. Big Easy VZ says New Orleans money line. DJ Big Boss, yes, this is something to remember. Reminder, All-Star break is approaching. Teams start doing crazy shit. Yes, that is true. Sometimes, start to expect the unexpected as the All-Star game approaches. That is very important to remember. Good comment, good reminder there. DJ Big Boss. Everyone liking New Orleans. One Hard Yo likes New Orleans. Maya Pay Lasway likes the Pelicans money line. Barham Dog Jenkins leaning Hornets. Wow. All In says the under is the play. Again, I was thinking that one as well. And Tomarino Tomor also, he says, I'm on Portland -2 and New Orleans +2. Sherelle Portia. Ooh, is that? I think that's a real female or just a? I don't know.
I do. I think.
It could be. Look, anytime there's a female poster and commenter name, I'm assuming it's a real female. I don't care. It's a fantasy. Let me just believe what I want to believe.
Sure. There's just the one questionable Vietnamese character.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they push it. Get a little too close. But Sherelle Portia says, "What's up, Bag and Shack?" And Sherelle Portia says, "Where's that comment on that? Oh shit, the screen just jumped. Where the screen just jumped. Sherelle Portia says Charlotte sucks. Good for nothing. D. Howard. Tomarino Tomor says Gentry is a good coach, and New Orleans is finally playing his offense now. Charlotte can score, but they can't defend. There you go. Batum still does not look healthy, so Charlotte can score, but they can't defend. So maybe stay off the under there. Definitely, almost everyone is liking New Orleans tonight, which is interesting.
Everybody except for Ziggy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm to Sherelle. I despise Dwight Howard, but he can get in the head of guys like Cousins, who allows people to get into his head. Who's not mentally tough.
Nick Ritz says, I refuse to lay points with the Hornets. Andre Pedroso says Cousins will destroy Howard. Pelicans can easily win, and Charlotte are not that good against tall teams. Wow. Maybe Mr. Cloud Kick says Pelicans are great as underdogs. They should easily cover 2.5. Everyone not loving the Pelicans.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't think there's a team I trust less than the New Orleans Pelicans.
Right.
They have so much skill, and they've now added. I mean, their 1-2-3 is good now. I don't see why they're not a much better team.
Yeah,
and because of this. At this point, this is a stay away game.
All right, and a lot of people saying also, just going back to that Houston over that I just gave, Darryl Lyle says the total has gone under 5 of Dallas's last 6 games when playing Houston. That's not good. And even worse is Dan Kelly says, I will be on Houston Dallas under 220 -110 if it gets there. And someone else says that, and Justin Searcy says, I think it gets there too, Dan Kelly. So Dan Kelly waiting for the line to get bet up to 220. And then he's going to take the under, and that's not good to read, Jim.
No, it's a tricky spot. But Sherelle says don't see this game hitting 224, and I was so confident that Pelicans Bulls game was going to go under, and I sat back like a fucking genius and leave it to NBA to just get you right in the bottom.
Welcome to basketball. Yeah. That's how it goes. There's lots of ups and downs. One thing you cannot do in basketball is like, all right, well, they've scored this many points in that many minutes, so that means they're likely to score. No. In college basketball, you can easily get 20 points scored in the last 90 seconds. Even in the NBA, it's not as stark in the NBA, but that can happen in the NBA too. In the NBA, you can easily have a team, see this all the time. The Spurs down by 20 at the half, wind up covering a -8 full game spread or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Swiatek, Eric makes a great point, and I'm 100% with him on this point. What he's saying. He says the only team I trust less than the Pelicans is the Hornets.
Yeah, and actually, when you said I don't trust this team at all, I thought you were going to say the Hornets. But then you said the Pelicans.
It is the Pelicans because I expected the Hornets to be bad this year. I thought the Pelicans, you look at that roster and you're like, why are they not competing with the top teams in the West? These two teams are unfaithful. I'm off both of them.
Wow. All right, I hate it when we spend a lot of time on a game and then don't give any picks, but that was a lot of. So the upshot is almost everyone in the comment box is either liking or loving the Hornets tonight, and the Pelicans.
Yes,
and everyone's saying that few opinions on the under, but also people saying that Charlotte is just bad on defense and they can score, so that would maybe indicate that the under is not the play. But everyone liking New Orleans. I guess let's move on. Let's move on to a pick that you do want to give. What do you like here, Jim?
Twatty Latte is a good point. He says, come on, Cavs are the least trustworthy. Come on. You're right.
They're very are you kidding?
Well,
the Cavs are very trustworthy. Yeah, we can't bet them on the first quarter and fade them on the full game.
I guess that is a good point. That's a good way of looking at it. You do know what to expect from them. Searcy says, bold prediction, Kemba goes for 35 tonight. Dwight gets a ton of rebounds. Interesting. I got a play here that I like a lot. I like the Sixers on the first half against the Bulls. They're at home. They're angry. They're coming off the 105-101 loss at Memphis on Monday night. They were up 15 points with a minute left in the third, up 10 points with 9:45 left. They committed 10 of their 24 turnovers in the fourth quarter. It was their 8th loss this season after building a lead of 11 or more. Like you said before the season started, after the game, Coach Brett Brown said, our stars were not our stars tonight, or we're not stars tonight. Our stars were not stars tonight. And then when they came over to Embiid and Simmons and said that, Simmons agreed. Simmons scored 6 points. Embiid scored 15. They each committed 4 turnovers. They turned the ball over 17.6 times a game, more than any team in the league. On the other hand, the Bulls are the second worst team in creating turnovers. They only create 12.5 a game. They're 20th in the league in defense, allowing 107.1 points per game. Sixers are just 11 and 10 at home. The Bulls are coming off that double overtime loss where they were up 17 with 5 minutes left. Jerry and Grant has done a good job replacing Chris Dunn, who's in concussion protocol. Likely won't be available tonight. Grant had 22 points, 13 assists, 5 boards, but did commit 6 turnovers. Chicago's 15-9 in their last 24. That was just their second loss in their last 6 games. I am taking the Sixers first half. I can't see a scenario where Embiid and Simmons don't come out strong. In fact, I should double up and take them on the first quarter too. I should, but first off, I'm going to take them for sure on the first half. What is their first half, and then what's their first quarter?
Their first half line. The first half line will be -3. Let me find it. The first half line, best line, -3, -109. That's the current line at Pinnacle. I'm going to double up on the belief that Simmons and Embiid come out very, very strong. Okay. I'm taking them on first quarter too. And the first quarter, let's find the best line. UWager has 1.5 -120, or Pinnacle has -2 -106.
I'll take -2 -106.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if I lose, I'd much rather. The reason why I've done well in hockey is because I'm not losing big numbers on favorites. Okay. And I'd rather. I'd rather push at 2 and save 14.
All right, -2 -106 is the first quarter. My only concern about that is just that the Bulls have covered 6 in a row. They've been great. You know what I mean? I bet them. I didn't bet them against New Orleans, but I did bet them on the second half against New Orleans. That cashed. I'm looking at their games here. Just a bunch of their games. I feel like I've since Levine came back, I've just sort of they were a team that was obviously a great bet for a big portion of the beginning of the year. Then there was a period of like 2 weeks or so where that tailed off, and they were actually starting to be a bad bet. And then recently, it seems like the train has turned around, and I have been on that train for the most part. And they've been covering. They're a team that I don't really like to bet. I'm not disagreeing with the play in general. I'm just saying that right now, betting against the Bulls in any capacity makes me feel a little bit uneasy. That's all I'm saying.
I love the Bulls, and their success has been a big part of my turnaround in NBA. But let's talk a little bit about. So I got Dirty Blumpkin says, love the first half. Sixers pick back.
Dirty Blumpkin? Who the hell? What? Ew. That's your name, dude? You guys okay, I would love to comment on the Loshak and the Bag Show. What should I? Dirty Blumpkin. That's pretty good.
Are there clean Blumpkins?
Ew.
All Blumpkins are dirty.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Andrew Cisneros says, I like that pick. Melee Payless Way says, Philly first half, Chicago full game. Interesting. Justin Searcy says, Bulls will win outright tonight. Philly first half, Chicago full game. And then Mr. Cloudkick says, I got him on the first quarter already, Jim. Dan Kelly says, love 76ers first half. And then All In had a really interesting comment in this is sort of the reason why I like them in the first quarter, first half, because it's up to Simmons. But let me say the comment first. He says, I can't trust this Sixers team with so many injuries without Redick, McConnell, and Bayless. Their backcourt is very shorthanded. I believe McConnell is good to go, and I'll double check that. But that's why I like them on the first quarter, first half, because Simmons just scored 6 points in that situation, and he can't allow that to happen again. He can't. The whole game is on his shoulders because of the injuries in the backcourt. And I expect the bet is on Simmons. I swear, this whole bet is on Simmons stepping up tonight. Okay. And so I got -2 first quarter and -3 first half.
All right, I'm looking at the comments here, and I do want to get to college basketball. Sherelle Portia says Rutgers should be cash money -2 only, a steal. Any thoughts? I was like -2 when I handicapped the game. They were +1, and I bet it at +1. Yes, Sherelle Portia, I do like Rutgers. I bet it at +1. Now they're -2. These lines are moving like hell. Jimmy the Bag. We got to get to college basketball in a second, but we got to finish up here with
McConnell has been ruled out for this game. You know what? It's all on Simmons.
All right. Well, once again, we will be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time where we will review all these picks. And sometimes Jim and I do. I tend to do it more, but add on picks in the 6 o'clock show on the NBA and NHL. Yesterday, added the Cavs first quarter winner. And then I added the first half as well, which is just getting a little bit too greedy there. But Jim's going to give Philly first quarter -2, -106, and first half -3, -109. All right, let's finish up this NBA card. Toronto, Atlanta is an interesting one, right? Toronto wrapping up their road trip here. They're very well rested. Atlanta has been a good bet at home recently in many games. And I will say one thing: we slam ourselves when we make our shitty picks. We've been on Atlanta recently. We've been nailing that. You've been nailing them on the money lines. I've only been taking them on the spreads. This one I don't know about. Raps have lost 4 in a row. ATS, they're well rested here. This is their last road game. I think they might come to play here. I was also thinking maybe about a shot with the under, and I was thinking maybe about a shot with the Atlanta team total under. Maybe Toronto's going to play some defense here. What's your take on this game, Jim?
I couldn't agree with you more about feeling like this is a tricky situation, and I guess it's because we've been so successful with the Hawks, and I've loved the Hawks at home. The Raptors are 19-6 against Eastern Conference teams, coming off the 115-109 loss in Minnesota, where Kyle Lowry put up 40 points, go along with 5 boards, 5 assists. Raptors have lost 4 of 7. They've had 3 days off and gotten practices Monday, Tuesday. They're 14-11 on the road. The Raptors have destroyed the Hawks this year. Beating them easily. They beat them by 34 in Atlanta, beat them by 13 in Toronto, but that game was out of hand early, and they just, emptied the bench. Hawks have won 3 of 4, coming off the 104-90 home win over the Jazz, 10-13 at home. Hawks went 12 for 26 from 3 after only going 11 for 48 in that loss to the Bulls. In their past 3 victories, they've held teams to under 100 points. Clearly, Budenholzer's going to be talking about that. And Budenholzer went off about how much he loved their defense against the Jazz. I think this is a tricky spot. It seems like everybody here is on the Raptors. Reggie says, I'm going Raptors. Captain 24/7 says Raptors. Cody Brown says Raptors first half. Al Hard, Toronto -6. Hako says fade Atlanta tonight.
I was thinking Raps first half as well. All right, I'm going to take the Atlanta team total under, which is a little bit of a cutesy thing, which I've done. But this one, I feel like it's for good reasons other than fear and trying to get too cute. I just feel like Toronto's going to play some good defense in this game. Might be a down spot for Atlanta. I'm going to take the Atlanta team total under 104 -107, and I will take the Toronto Raptors on the first half -3, -105. 2 plays on this one. An interesting spot. Feels like it's a good spot for Toronto, and I'm going to take them first half. I'm going to take Atlanta team total under.
Everybody coming in on the Raptors. Everybody. And Sherelle Porsche says Toronto -6. I might piss in my shoes if they lose again.
Ooh.
They've been spanking Atlanta.
Ooh. Kinky.
We don't have time though. We got to keep going.
We got to. Ooh, no, I'm kinky too, Sherelle. No problem. Yes, absolutely.
I'm aroused.
I'm kinky.
Okay, let's stay focused.
Kinky here. Wait, where's that comment? Where the fuck is that guy? I like how you read it, Jim. I like how you read it. Yeah, much better when you read it. Yeah.
Stay focused.
Okay, stay focused. Yeah, we don't have a lot of time.
Everybody's on the Raptors. Can I tell you a game I am on?
Yeah.
I'm on the Wolves-Blazers over. The Timberwolves are coming off a 126-118 victory on the road over the Clippers on Monday night. They've won back-to-back games without Jimmy Butler in the lineup. Andrew Wiggins has picked up the slack on the offensive end finally, and I love the way he's playing. He's back to the 2 spot, right? Back to the shooting guard. He's put up 69 points in those 2 games back at the 2 spot. Both Butler and his backup Jamal Crawford are questionable to go tonight. It's an exciting spot for me. I think he's going to continue lighting it up. The Mavericks are 24-7 versus the Western Conference teams. Blazers are coming off a disappointing 104-101 loss at Denver. They were up 7 points with 5 minutes left. I like this over too because CJ McCollum had an uncharacteristically bad game, going just 3 for 14 from the floor for just 12 points. Blazers are just 13-10 at home, but have won 6 straight there. The loss to the Nuggets stopped the 3-game winning streak. I like the over here. I think there's going to be buckets, and I want to lock myself in.
All right, sounds good. Wow, everyone agreeing with the Toronto play.
Not Maxwell Smart.
Yeah. Atlanta +6. All right, well, I'm not on Toronto -6. I'm just taking the first half. I'm just taking team total. That'll be an interesting game. We'll see how it turns out. All right, so what do you want, Jim? The over?
I do.
Okay, let me see. Let me find it. On which one again? The Minnesota Portland game, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see, 213.5.
And it's been going down.
Has it? It opened at 212.5.
Oh, okay. Then the line here is wrong because it says on SBR it opened at 216.5.
No, I'm seeing 212. All right, 213.5 minus 105. Minnesota Portland. That is the best line there. Over 213.5 minus 105.
I like this play. I'm doubling it up.
Really?
I'm going to take the first half as well.
Okay, I did not look at that game because there was no overnight line, but I'm going to look at that one in the afternoon. The first half over is best line 108 minus 109 at Pinnacle. So Jim's going to take the first half over 108 minus 109 and the full game over 213.5 minus 105. All right, we do want to get to a college basketball. Any other games you want to mention? We'll talk about the games we didn't get to in the 6 o'clock show. Utah, Detroit, obviously an interesting one. I was thinking maybe a shot with the over, although that total's going down. And Detroit, a team with some serious issues, but maybe at just -2, they're worth a play here. What do you think, Jim?
This is another spot where, remember, I felt like I had such a good read on the Pistons for the first month of the year. I do not know what to expect from them. They're a fucking mess. Pistons have lost 5 straight, and we don't want to dwell on this game too much because I know we want to move on. Pistons have lost 5 straight. Lost 8 of 10. They've allowed opponents to shoot at least 46% in all but one of those 8 losses. They're 3-9 since Reggie Jackson went down with an ankle injury. Drummond and Bradley were just held to 7 points. There's something going on in that dressing room, clearly. Van Gundy does not have control over them. Something is going on. Jazz are coming off a 104-90 loss at Atlanta. Won just 6 of the past 23. Donovan Mitchell being a big bright spot, but he had 6 turnovers versus the Hawks with just 13 points. Rodney Hood's expected to miss another game. This is just these are 2 bad teams. I'm not comfortable here.
You know what else I was thinking about going back to the Philly game? I was thinking about the under on that one. What do you think about that, Jim?
Wow.
Do you think Philly's just going to come out and put up 60 points in the first half and it's going to explode over?
No, I think that might be a very smart play. What's that number?
Well, it's I did bet that one. It's a 2-night split all over the place. 217.5, 218, 218.5, or 219 are all available right now. I'll take it for now. Maybe I'll pull it in the afternoon game, but I'll take it right now under 219 minus 110. That's the current line at the Greek and Pinnacle. We'll see how this develops, and maybe I'll do some more research. But for right now, I'm going to show that one on there as well. Chicago, Philly under 219. Minus 110. All right, Jim. Anything else for NBA, or shall we wrap this up?
Wrap it up. We can wrap it up. But I'm very interested in the final game of the evening, the Clippers-Celtics game. It's kind of a mess. And I've capped the whole game. We can break it down, but we don't really have time right now. And I don't have an official pick, so we'll definitely hit it on the late show.
So just to recap all the official picks from NBA, Jim is on San Antonio, Memphis over 193.5. Philly first quarter -2 and first half -3. And the Portland game first half over 108 and the full game over 213.5. And for me, in the NHL, I'm on Toronto -1. And in NBA, Phoenix +7.5. Houston, Dallas over 218. That's a controversial play that I might pull back in the later show. Dan Kelly's waiting for that line to hit 220, and then he's going to take the under, which makes me very nervous. I may do the same if we come back here at 6 o'clock and go for a little middle there, Jim. I'm also on the Chicago-Philly game under 219 and the Atlanta team total under 104 and the Toronto first half -3, -105. All right, let's go to a college basketball. I did have a chance to break down a lot of this shit, and I bet a lot of this shit on the overnight lines. One of the wow, look at that. One of the games I did bet was Rutgers at +1. It's now -2 at home against Nebraska, and Rutgers no great shakes, but look, they beat Wisconsin at home, and I feel like I was going to want to look into that game maybe a little bit further, but I did take them, and I will just start off with that right now. Rutgers -2. I wish I was getting +1, which is what I bet it at on the overnight line, but I'll start with that one, -2, -110. Again, makes me a little bit nervous on paper. Rutgers is bad, but feels like they should be a 54% chance to get a win here, right?
I've really been on this Nebraska train.
Yeah,
of
Nebraska's
late.
good though. Yeah.
And so my instinct this morning was, I was going to take the under. And so I at 5, and whenever the line came up, it was 129.5. And then it got just, everybody went on the under. And then literally before I got an hour of sleep from 8 to 9, it was down to 126.5. And then all the people started betting on the over then. And I'm curious what you guys think, because I thought that under instantly was a spot that I wanted to take. What do you think about the under there?
I don't know.
The bigs are going to be hammering at each other.
Yeah, I think I did not. I have no opinion on that under as of yet. But I will tell you. Let me just get to the picks that I gave. I did bet St. Joseph's at +7. God, I should tweet this shit out. Now it's not available. 6.5 is the best line, but I will throw that one on there, even though I really, really wish I was getting 7. Sometimes 7 can be a key number in college basketball. But I'll take St. Joe's +6.5, -110. That's an official pick. St. Joe's +6.5, -110. Moving on down the line. I also took Niagara at -2. That's now up to -3.5 or -4. All right, I'll take them at -3.5. Once these getting the bad lines like these are gonna burn you, and it frustrates me. But I bet it at -2, and I'll give them at -3.5 right now. That's the best line at Bookmaker. Let me see what else. Rhode Island is interesting as a big road favorite at Fordham. I'm going to look at that one, but Fordham has been terrible. I had a good call on Fordham early in the year, Jim. I said in general I was looking to fade them, and they've gotten repeatedly blown out recently. Thinking maybe about a shot with the Rhode Island Fordham game and the over, but I'll hold off on that one for now. NC Greensboro, I bet that one at -1, and that is now, where is that one? That's up to 1.5. Oh, no, UWager still has -1. So NC Greensboro, -1, -110. That's a play that I'm going to add. UMass also against LaSalle. They already played once at UMass, and it went to overtime, and I'm thinking this one probably more likely than not to go to OT. So to go down to the wire, so I'll take that one. UMass +7, -106. Other games that I bet, let me just find them. Louisville's playing Miami, and I'm thinking that Louisville might be a good play here. Louisville's a tough team, right? They have that big center who's great. We'll break that game down a little bit more in the afternoon show. But to start, I'm just going to put Louisville on the first half on this one, and I might put them on the first game as well. But I think that Louisville's going to, at least to start, give Miami a good challenge here. I'm going to take Louisville first half. Let's see. First half Louisville. Where's that line? First half Louisville +2.5 -108. +2.5 -108. That's the best line currently at Pinnacle. I'm taking Louisville on that one. All right. Also, wow. Pittsburgh at home against NC State. Pittsburgh, a terrible team. NC State, great with that great Turkish guy, Omer Yurtseven. And I was thinking maybe, though, Pittsburgh, this might be a spot where they surprisingly play a little bit closer. And I was thinking about taking the +10. The line is headed up. It's probably going to head it up even more, but that's something I was thinking about in my brain. Also thinking about UC Riverside to cover +10.5. And one play that I definitely made that has also moved against me is Wyoming. Wyoming's a home at Nevada. Of course, Nevada is an excellent team. They're ranked now, and they've been a great bet ATS overall. This is a little bit tough spot, though. I took Wyoming at +5.5. It's now down to 4.5 market wide. The Greek has 4, but Pinnacle still has 5 -123. So all the games that I bet have moved in my favor, which in general is a good sign, Jimmy the Bag.
Very good sign. Yeah. I was on Nevada so big in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, and then their lack of height just started. Nevada's lack of height just started angering me so much, and I lost with them a few times in a row, and then I've just let them be. Some very interesting stuff here. Very interesting stuff. Max's favorite play of the day is Duquesne, and I think that's a very exciting spot. I'm very interested in the Marquette spot. This is a card that I really like. Greg Schneider's asking about Auburn versus Missouri, and my first feeling is that I like Missouri at home, but then Max believes that hiccup that Auburn had was just there, and they'll be coming out. And I don't mean to put words in your mouth, Max, but so then finally, just before we move on, there was a question about the Celtics-Clippers game, and I really think that we should wait because Celtics play the Warriors next, and I would not be surprised if Kyrie is sat. And I've broken this game down quite a bit, and my main thought was that because there's two things. One, because they got the Warriors next, maybe they try to do whatever they can to get this win so they don't have a 6-game losing streak. Or also, they could sit people tonight and rest them for that big game against the Warriors. So I really think that we need to wait and see what happens throughout the day.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I actually bet Marquette at 7.5 because I assume the line's going to go down. Now it's down to 6.5 or 7. You like Marquette, right?
I do like Marquette, but I'm going to need more time to hammer that game.
Okay. Well, I'll throw that line in right there. That's one other one. I bet it at 7.5. It's now down to 6.5 or 7. So I'll take +7 -108. That's the line at Bet Online. And then we're going to go over some totals, Jimmy the Bag, because I also hit some of these totals. The one total that I definitely want to make sure I give, hopefully this one hasn't moved against me, is, where is that one? It was 145. It was the under in Sanford, Chattanooga. I'm going to give that one. Actually, sportsbetting.ag has 145.5. So that's interesting. I'm going to take the Chattanooga under 145.5 -110. And the Duquesne game, I also like the under on that one, and I'll throw that one on there. Duquesne under 137 -110. That's a line at Bookmaker. I was also thinking about a shot with the over in the Rhode Island-Fordham game. Even though Fordham can't score at all, Rhode Island, might just run up the score a little bit. That line is headed up.
They're pumped. There's no question that Rhode Island is a pumped group.
Yeah,
they're playing well. Yeah. They see the light at the end of the tunnel. They're playing fast.
Yes.
I like that spot on Rhode Island.
I'm going to take the over. That line is headed down, which is a little bit surprising. Fordham has played some very low-scoring games at home recently, but the way this game's going to go, I just feel like Fordham won't really be able to stop Rhode Island. Rhode Island probably won't be committed to playing strong defense against these guys. And I'm going to take the over on this one, 130.5 minus 110. That's the line currently at BetOnline and sportsbetting.ag. And I think I may as well right now double up on that one. I'm going to take the first half over on that one as well. Where is that one? It's over just 60.5 minus 112. Well, I mean, Rhode Island might put up 60 on their own in this game, in this first half. I'm take the first half over 60.5 minus 110. That's Rhode Island at Fordham. That's a play that I am definitely going to give. And again, the Chattanooga under, the Duquesne under. Let me find just quickly some of the other totals that I definitely bet that I want to give. BC Syracuse, that's an interesting game. That might be a good shot with the under on that one. Those games can go under. UMass and LaSalle went over in their first game, and I'm thinking this one also might be a little bit higher scoring, but I'm going to hold off on that one and look into it a little bit more. Let me just scan the games to make sure there aren't. God, there's so many games. College basketball. St. Joseph's and St. Bonaventure, first time they met, went way over. And there wasn't particularly any unusual shooting numbers in that one. This total is crashing. I don't exactly know why. It's down to 150.5 at BetOnline, and I'm scratching my head on that one. But I'm thinking about the over. I'm going to wait and watch and see what pops up there. Wofford VMI. That's another game where I like the under, and I will take that one. That line is headed up. Maybe I should hold off. Maybe that'll go even higher. But I'll take it. I'll take it right now. I'll hold off and I'll wait and watch and see what happens and look into it a little bit more. But I'm definitely leaning under in Wofford VMI. And I'm leaning over in Manhattan Niagara. Of course, Manhattan is very low scoring, but they can be brought higher scoring, and I think that might happen here with the game against Niagara. So I'm leaning over on that one and the first half over, but I'll hold off on that one for now as well. And just scanning these games. Yeah, slightly into the Illinois State Northern Iowa under, of course, at 129.5. Those Northern Iowa games often just land in the 120s, and we could see another one there. And right, that's it for now. A lot of other interesting games that I will look into more in the afternoon, as will Jimmy the Bag. But as of right now, all the college plays I'm adding. Marquette +7, Louisville first half +2.5, Rutgers -2, St. Joe's +6.5. I bet that one at +7. Niagara at -3.5. I bet that one at -2. NC Greensboro -1, UMass +6, Wyoming +5, Chattanooga under 145.5, Duquesne under 137, and the Fordham game first half over 60.5, and the full game over 130.5. That's it for now as far as official picks, but I'll have a lot more in the afternoon. Jim.
I want to add on because if Pinnacle is hanging 128 on Nebraska Rutgers, I would like to take the under there.
Okay, let me just find that. Nebraska Rutgers, yes, 128 up. And actually, Bet365, which we do use, has 128 plus 100. So we'll give you that one.
Under 128 plus 100. I love that.
Jim's going to take Rutgers under 128 plus 100. Okay, Jimmy the Bag, under 128 plus 100. Any comments that have come in that are on college basketball, anything?
It's extremely interesting stuff. Ole Miss says, like Rhode Island, one last 10 of Fordham, or one last 10 Fordham on a 5-game losing streak. Horrible. Rhode Island should get the cover. Let's see. Lots of interesting stuff.
Maxwell Smart likes Duquesne.
Yes. Vincent K. Maxwell is on Georgetown -3.5. Thinks DePaul has injuries. Cody Brown.
Mr. Knockout 66 says St. Joseph's is garbage on the road, though. Yeah, I'm hoping that they might be better here. And again, the fact that I didn't get 7 is very annoying to me. I'm taking 6.5, which is annoying.
Gogster's on the over in the Bonaventure game. Also, he's on the over in LaSalle. Bonson likes Boston College. Joe Kim says Fordham has been losing games by 20 plus. I really think that's a good spot. You know what? I want to be locked in on the Rhode Island spot right now. I just. They're playing so well, but I only want them on the full game just in case Fordham gets off to a good start at home. But yes, I want Rhode Island to cover that big spread, and I'd like to lock that in. Okay, that line is getting bet down, actually, kind of surprisingly. When I handicapped the game, it was 15.5, and now it is down to 14.5. No 14s, but Pinnacle does have 14.5 -102. So you want that one, Jim? I do.
Rhode Island -14.5 -102, and again, I'm on the overs in that game, first half and full game. Let's just quickly look at some other comments here. Just some interesting stuff. All right, wow, lots of interesting stuff. I'm gonna scan all these comments and we're gonna comment on them. Okay, let's see. Oh, a lot of people not liking my. I'm going back to the Philly over. A lot of people not liking that. Omar Magana says Philly's playing good D, but if they play fast, they'll be leaning over. And Mutt Beast says over, Pete. Okay. A lot of people liking Marquette. Ryan Cartwright says Marquette plus the points is the play. Justin Searcy says, I was leaning Nebraska this morning. Rutgers at home is pretty good, and Nebraska's playing its third straight road game. Let's see. Other comments here. Sherelle Portia says Nebraska's 59, Rutgers 65. That certainly makes sense there. McGogster, yes, leaning over in St. Joe's, St. Bonaventure. Yes, as was I. McGogster, not exactly sure why the line is headed down. Eric Swiatek says Niagara over, Pete. Yes, that's a lean that I have as well. Let's see. Do
you like the side there in that Niagara game?
The Niagara game? Yes, Niagara minus 3.5 is my pick, and I bet it at -2. And I think I might take them on the first half as well. Brian George says Marquette +7, play of the day. Let's see. Other comments here. Do
you think that Marquette line is going to keep dropping?
No, I don't think so. I think it'll probably go back up because people will see Xavier. Xavier will take money. You know. Okay. Maxwell Smart says Duquesne is my favorite play. Very nice. Let's see. Jansen Bonzone says NC State rolls. Jansen Bon says no way on Pitt. Yeah, I was just sort of looking at it and thinking about it. Mutt Beast says Nevada -5. I don't know, man. I'm on Wyoming +5. I bet it at 5.5. It's now down to 4.5 or 4 market wide. Let's see. Stephen Mraz says Georgetown under, low-hanging fruit. I will keep that in my mind and look at that one. Byron Walters likes the Louisville Miami over, and Samford. There you go. Twate Latte, like Sanford and Chattanooga, under 145. Yes, that's one of my favorite totals plays of the entire card, Twate. And I will give it as an official pick at 145.5. Very nice to see a Spirito Latte agreeing with that one. Let's see. Yes, Jansen Bonzone says, yes, I like Marquette. Mutt Beast says Marquette will cover. Norm L says Xavier are no pushovers. I never bet against Xavier. Okay, but I think Marquette is improving. Jansen Bonzone says Xavier not playing well recently. Jansen Bonzone says St. Joseph's might be a play.
Triple Beam says Florida and South Carolina are in different weight classes. I'm laying the points with Florida. South Carolina is on the road and is not good there.
All right. Yes, a lot of people talking about the DePaul-Georgetown game, which I'm going to look into. Georgetown -3.5. DePaul has injuries, says Vincent K. Maxwell. And Cody Brown says, hey, Bag, can you also look into the line movement for Georgetown? I'm sure that will be a game that that Jimmy the Bag will look into. Just some, yep. Maylos Palos Way says Southern Illinois pound it. I was thinking about that as well as a small home favorite. I'll look into that a little bit. Oh, Mr. Cloud Kicks. Xavier should be an easy call. All right. So a lot of disagreement on the Xavier Marquette game. As of right now, I am leaning Marquette. I bet him at 7.5, and I would be leaning at +7 right now. And other comments here. Yeah, the Stanford USC game, very, very interesting. Of course, Stanford with that big last-second win over USC recently. Now it's the revenge game, and USC is at home, giving Stanford a lot of points. I'm sure that's another game that Jimmy the Bag is going to look into very deeply in this afternoon. Maxwell Smart says Richmond has had some impressive wins lately, and I guess that's just about it. K. Chu says, new motto suggestion for Loshak, shove that stash up Vegas ass. Not bad. K. Chu, thank you very much. Jansen Bonzone says that Rutgers line is not appealing to me. All right. So, a lot of things we have to think about, a lot of things we have to digest between now and 6 o'clock. Jimmy the Bag has added on Rutgers under 128 +100 and Rhode Island -14.5, -102. I've given a lot of plays, most of the plays in college basketball people vaguely agreeing with, but not all of them. And the Marquette-Xavier game appears to be a highly, highly controversial game. So we'll see how that line movement goes, and we'll see what new information we have by 6 o'clock Eastern time. We do the show twice a day. We'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time. We're running over, but that's great. Jimmy the Bag, here you go. Ole Miss, only 7.5. I don't know. I think Xavier will step up tonight. Justin Searcy, I was leaning Xavier at -6.5. Kobe Valentine, if Marquette is hitting for 3, they can beat anyone. Burn Bar, Nevada -5. All right, a lot of things. Barham, Dog, Jenkins. I don't agree with Wyoming, Pete. Okay. Interesting stuff.
Very interesting stuff. Thank you guys so much for all your help, man. This is going to be a great afternoon.
Yes, great afternoon. We'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Thanks so much to all our commenters.